back on.
You want to propose adding that request in.
Yep.
Let's get that across the line.
Yep. Okay. So to do that, so what we're talking about is, I think we're in agreement. We're going to ignore the issues, which are the edge cases, for now, and just do a simple walkthrough of this. So I'm on.
Okay. So first of all, R10 Request-Idea. Why is it that you've put the NFT image under strategic intent?
I think that might actually be a copy and paste mistake, because I'm not sure we've generated an NFT for R10 yet.
I did. I thought I did. That's what the NFT is.
Well, that's easy enough changed. So move the. Oh, you're right. It's request idea NFTs. Yeah. So I'll move that to just under the header.
Okay, you do it. I'll do it, or you do it.
I'm doing it now. I've got it.
Are you doing it now? Okay, cool. Okay, and the targets. Does this target one? Yeah, I guess it does, right?
Yeah, I can't think of any other ones. So the reason for this even existing is because we want to meet request 01. What we've not got is a Dreamcatcher idea to attach it to.
Yeah. No, I didn't think that there was any point in when you list the targets. There doesn't seem to be a point to list that you don't fully meet it.
I agree, because really you could, even if it's not complete and correct, it's down to the QA of the pool that you're applying to see whether it's enough. And without applying to it,
I think the rule is, does it meet it at least in part?
Right.
And if so, then the target is valid.
Right. And prior to putting through a pool QA, this is still could be a poorly formed single word request. It doesn't matter. It's just out there. So the important stage gate is applying it to a pool, at which point it gets QA applied to it. And then it's down to the QA to decide whether actually are all those targets really what you're doing. So, but by putting target for just Dreamcatcher there, we're indicating what the point of this is. What's its reason for living?
Yeah. Where's it heading?
Yeah.
Okay. And dependencies was, like, I'm just reading your ticket number 31 response where you're just to clarify, do you mean in order for this request to be completed, we need this other request to be completed? Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's fine. So, I don't think this applies on anything. This request idea could be completed without anything else being completed. The only thing we could put into dependencies is, we'd have to alter the request to say this, but we're putting it through. We're testing the request idea process by putting it into the DC pool. The DC pool does not yet have an asset that says what do you need to do in order to do that. And it's not for this request to say what you need to do. So possibly,
I think we can leave that one as a bit too much of a brain teaser. It's just, I don't know how to say how that sort of folding on itself works. I'm convinced though that we both know.
Yeah.
Which is interestingly one of the reasons why we put these images attached to the things, because even if you can still reach understanding with someone without having written everything down.
Right.
And I think that, a request is meant to form a token, a representation, a thingification of agreement between some people.
Yes.
That's really all it's meant to do. If we all know what it means, that's fine.
Yeah. We could actually, because yesterday I did create a request for the DC pool QA, which is R11. So we could actually put that in under dependencies. But at the moment, the request doesn't ask for it to actually be tested through a DC pool or a pool of any sort, I think. Let me check.
I think that is R10 cannot have any dependencies.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah. We'd have to add in an additional must into R10 to say you must run this through a pool in order to prove the process, and then there will be a dependency on a pool.
No, I don't think we can ask it to run itself. That's too much of a brain teaser. It's just
we're going to disappear our own arse. Yeah. Okay, so no dependencies. That's fine. What I've started doing, and I don't know if you agree on this one, but I've started putting intentionally blank.
I don't like that at all. If it's intentionally blank, just leave it blank.
Yeah, but you can't tell whether it's blank or you've just not done it yet. But if you put intentionally blank, you know it's...
That's all part of what QA does. QA's job is not to reason why. QA's job is just to check the logic. It's not... Once we have an app in there, that's all just falls by the wayside, It's like...
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, happy with that. So, right. So we're... kind of informally running this through QA, which we know where it is. So what do we do? Do we do a close read through and say, yep, we're happy with that request?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. So you're doing the edits. You moved the icon.
Yep. Do you want me to share screen?
Yeah, sure. That would actually be helpful because it's one of the ways that get kind of falls down is that you can't.
Yeah, I can't see what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, but it gets like 10 years old. It's funny. It was sort of before easy streaming was around.
Yeah. I don't know which screen is it. I want this one, so it's actually weirdly the one I'm looking at. Okay. Is this going to work? Just thinking about it. Thinking. This is not the slickest broadcast we've done.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Resolve. Oh, jeez. Oh.
It's given like a super high quality stream.
I know what's happening. He's asking for... It's a Mac thing.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Discord will not be able to record the contents of your screen until it's quit. I'm not asking Discord to record anything, so I'm going to see it later. Right, can you see anything now?
Yeah, I can see it all.
Okay.
I can see your screen.
Excellent. Can you see DC pool, etc.?
No, I can only see Discord.
Right, I'm going to have to restart Discord.
Can you even see your monitors?
No, I need to restart. It gave me a message saying you need to restart Discord. Oh. Hold on.
This is awesome.
So what are you seeing now on the screen share?
I'm seeing your Discord screen with my face in it and your face, and then a picture of a smaller version of that whole thing again onto infinity.
All right, let me restart Discord. Be right back.
See you soon. Is that you?
It is me. Right, can you see my screen? Share your screen. Screens. This one. Go live. There. How's that? Where the... Right.
Yeah.
Where's it
That's
going?
a whole bunch of look like Hindu.
Yeah. don't ask. All right. Okay. There we are. Right. We're on. We're cooking with gas.
Awesome.
Okay. So yeah. So this has moved. No dependencies. Target's done. So now on to strategic intent.
Yep. Strategic intent's fine.
Yep. So I guess in this situation, because I'm the one who wrote this, this is the QA part. I automatically agree with it because otherwise I would be still editing it.
It hurts, huh?
So it's just really anything that you can pick up.
I think tactical intent 1 goes on too long. It's like define what a request idea is, and the dictionary terms required for these concepts. Then I think it's a second tactical intent to describe the process of how all those pieces fit together.
Right, so what I've got is define what the request and idea is, the process, how it's used, what the format we think it should be in, and what the scope of it.
Yeah, so I would say that the tactical intent 1 is define what a request and idea is, as well as any sub concepts in the dictionary.
So that means that's an update to the dictionary and the creation of entries in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I added 2 additions to the must part. This is actually quite hard to. This is a great test, and it's hard to talk about sections because I want to talk about tactical intent 1 must, but it sort of feels hard to describe what those sections are.
It does, and actually what I found writing a few of these now is a lot of the must, shoulds, coulds, etc. Actually apply to the entire thing.
Yeah.
And it gets quite big if you have too many tactical intents because you're repeating the same. You're basically repeating the same thing.
There's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of overlap, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, in reading RFCs and all that, their musts are not even enumerated. They're sort of just freeform text. Now, I'm not saying we should do that. Like, it's easier to split them out, but...
Well, how about this, then? I can add in a tactical intent 0, which is overall, and then pull out all the things that apply for everything. And that means for each of those sub-tactical intents, we might have quite a few gaps, as in there might not be a should or a could every time. it's important we keep those in there so you consider it, I think. But this is, again, from our informal QA process with DC pool. Maybe others would disagree. But I could put in tactical intent 1, pull out most of those musts into overall, and then we can enumerate the tactical intent in a more defined kind of modular.
It's annoying because it's good to be split. Like, it's nice to have the tactical intents listed because they're sort of separated, but I guess it's about why did you separate them? What rule did you use to split them out? Because you could combine them again and then split them by a different rule.
Yeah, so what I did here, my thinking was, okay, so essentially what we're trying to do is define a process. Okay, so the number one is to actually go through that and record what that process is. The second one, which we want to remove, which is to actually run some of the app ideas through this process in order to prove the process. Maybe we don't want to do that. And the third one is maybe irrelevant because, of course, we're going to record issues and notes arise. So the third one is like, yeah, of course you are. The second one is maybe beyond the scope of this, and the first one may need to be broken up into, right, what we're doing, we're creating a process doc, we're updating the dictionary, and well, that's it. Thinking about the assets, what are the assets coming out of this? There's going to be a request idea guidance on, help the next guys along not have this pain. And the second thing is make it consistent with what we've already got by updating the dictionary. I think those are the only two outputs, right? Because there's activities and outputs, but if we stick it just to outputs.
Fuck, we're not off to a great start, eh? We're already tackling.
I know it's always going to be painful, but this is useful stuff because
tackling changing the format of requests while we're doing the first request.
Yeah, this is bootstrapping free.
Look, why don't we just leave it as it is, and then consider changes to the request idea format as sort of part of our work.
Right. Well, how about this then? If we leave the request as is, the request is we want this to happen, but the idea should be a bit more, specific about outputs and so on.
Ideas definitely need to describe what the output is.
Yeah.
But requests are really sort of like tests for what the output does, maybe?
Yes, it's to unwrap the whole point of a request is to state the outcome that you're needing or you want without stepping into solutioneering at all. It's like an anti-solutioneering doc.
Yeah.
And if someone came along and said it could meet R10 with sticky notes and a whiteboard, it's like, okay, that's one way of doing it. Maybe there are others, but we would decide to put it into an MD doc. So that needs to be a pure idea in order to amplify the innovation around it, or not to close off avenues that we have never even thought about.
Yeah, that's the whole point of splitting requests and ideas, right?
Yeah.
Is that
you
can kill your own idea by being overly specific.
Right. And here's a thought. Just to go a bit meta, this is a bit of a mindfuck actually. What we actually submitting into the pool, is it just the I11, which can refer to R10, which is out there?
No, we're trying to get R10 into the pool.
Yeah.
Then we're trying to get whatever it was.
I11.
I11 in there as a potential to satisfy R10.
Right. Okay. So how about it's just then for this first run through, because this is a QA run through, we haven't written the QA process in at all. We've got it in our heads, so it's entirely valid for us just to go, right, okay, right, we know what the gist of it here is. We're happy with that. And the I11, what we really want to see is whether the outputs make sense given that request R10. So I don't think we should, based on what I'm saying, I don't think we should wordsmith R10. I think it is what it is. I think what's in there is correct. The idea doesn't need to meet every tactical intent. We agreed that a few weeks ago. So the idea...
Yeah, to be listed as a target, I don't think the idea needs to satisfy everything in the request.
Right.
Whether or not it closes the request will be the judgment of QA.
Right. Precisely. And also, I don't know what... there's no concept of closing a request. The request just is there. The idea can...
Well, no, because if you pulled your money against the request and said anyone who fulfills this request will get this money, then having the request fulfilled, that's what I would consider closing it.
Right. However, you can also as a pool say, right, the request that we're talking about is the one that's in the pool. So we've effectively forked that request. So we know what we're talking about now. It's still available outside. Other people can pick it up and riff on it and do whatever they want. But the R10 that we're talking about is the one inside the pool. We're escrowing against I11, which may not meet the whole request. But we're okay with that because we're not escrowing anything against the request. You could escrow against the whole request, in which case, yes, you're absolutely right. But
that's what I meant.
You don't have
to. You can escrow against a request, or you can escrow against an idea.
Right.
Escrowing against the request is, like, you can escrow against a, when you escrow against the request, you're putting a lot more load onto QA.
Yeah.
But you're also, like, narrow in that it needs to be fully met, not partially met.
Right.
Whereas ideas, particularly partially meeting ones, and if there's like requests, smaller requests that are targeting a bigger request, you can fund those too, and so they will complete sooner than the big one.
That's exactly the point. But what you want to do by pulling a request into a pool, if you're not escrowing against that request, what you are doing is you're putting down the head mark saying, when we're talking about targeting this idea against R10, this is the R10 that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. So what we should be doing here is, unless there's something that's wrong, we shouldn't worry about whether it's complete, and we shouldn't worry about whether it includes things that we don't see as necessary. But we need to agree under QA that is correct. So everything in there is correct, but say we're not going to be asking for tactical intent 2, because at this point I11 does not address tactical intent 2. However, it does address tactical intent 1. That's good enough for us to escrow against idea 11, and it will partially close R10 in our view. Whether we want an I13, I14, or whatever to do the other ones, that will be down to ideas being generated and go through the QA process. But the important thing is the head mark is fixed. So by pulling the request into the pool, we're saying this is the request. This is R10 as we see it.
Hey, look, I'm getting frustrated. Can you save that document that you've done, and then we'll copy it over to a Google Doc so we can operate on it live? Because otherwise, I can't.
I was thinking that this is all a bit one way, isn't it? I could hear you twitching. Right. do you want me to commit this?
Yeah, if you commit that, and then I'll open up a document.
Yeah, cool. That's definitely the way. So you're opening up a document. You can ping me across the link.
Yep.
On the plus side, while you're doing that, this is exactly one of our disciplines, isn't it? Use the process to build the process.